Think we're rolling. Ouch. Oh, there's my eye. Think we're rolling. Yo, 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 what's going on? Let me just make sure everything is good real quick. See if we're up and running on Rumble. Are we up and running on Rumble? Rumble always usually takes a little bit. Are we up and running on Rumble? Looks like we will be up and running on Rumble shortly. Are we up and running on YouTube? We are up and running on YouTube. Shortly, are we up and running on YouTube? Nice. We are up and running on YouTube. No latency. Are we up and running on YouTube? Nice. We are up and running on YouTube. Nice. Excuse me. We're up and running on YouTube. Excuse me. We're up and running. Are we up and running on Twitter? I should have been using StreamYard all along. There's a different platform that I'm using now that I wasn't using before, and I'm glad I'm using it now, and this joint is solid. But that's neither here nor there. Nonetheless, people of the internet, welcome back to another live stream. It is I, Don Thomas, back in here with another one. As always, folks, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for stopping by. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topics. Folks, as I get my wits about me, I don't necessarily even know how long I'm going to be on here. Started at 8, a little after 8. Today Monday'd. Like, today was Monday. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know how, like, every day comes, like, with its own connotation? So if it was like, oh, it's Friday, you know the vibes that Fridays come with, right? So if somebody, oh, today's Friday. If somebody was to say, oh, you know, today's Friday, yo, TGIF. We have all these mantras and things and sayings that are associated with days of the week. So, you know, Friday has, like, an upbeat feeling. Fridays are pretty cool. Everybody's pretty chill. Sunday is pretty chill. We already know that. But Monday, when you just, it's like the connotation associated with the word Monday, it's not a positive connotation. So for me, and I'm assuming for a lot of you guys out there as well too, today was Monday. Like, everything that you know is associated with Mondays today, it was that. It was just, for me, a little bit hard to get going today. Like, today was one of those days, I'm not gonna lie. Excuse me. I need to stop doing that, but I keep forgetting. Today was one of those Mondays, man. It was just like, I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't really feeling it today, and that's regardless of, I'm not even talking about the events that took place today. I was just talking about just myself. We'll get into that, of course. You see it in the title. Donald Trump is back in office. What happens now, right? And this is just a question I've been asking myself, that I haven't necessarily put too much thought into, because I want to kind of treat all these days like they're the same. So again, the plan that you would have had if the other lady won, if Kamala won, is still supposed to be the plan that you would have had if Trump won. So regardless, again, of who you voted for, assuming of course you're still under the impression that your vote matters. If you voted for Trump, the same protocol that you are implementing for Trump is the same protocol you would have had to implement for Kamala as well too, is what I'm saying. We'll get into that, man. We'll get into that. Let me see. Still get my wits about me. As I said, today was Monday. Today was a Monday, bro. Like, it was just, I don't know. You just get to thinking, man. Like, you know, when I said this before as well too. I get it, bro. I get, like, you know, you see mental breakdowns. And again, I'm not saying everybody has to, like, you know, express hardship in that manner. Right? But, like, I get how people crash out, how people cry. I mean, of course, they'll record it and throw it on a TikTok, whatever the case is. But I get how people are overwhelmed, is basically what I'm saying. Like, I get how, you know, I think there is, I don't know the numbers behind this. I don't know if there's a stat behind this, but I know how, I feel like there's a growing number in mental breakdowns. And physical hardship, mental hardship, emotional hardship, spiritual hardship. I feel like these people are just going through it collectively. So it's just like, I get it. And, you know, a lot of the sentiment that I at least try to share on my platform is that we do have to keep going. We do have to keep a level head. Like that's the energy and some of the mantras that I guess I kind of embody for myself. But even for me, as the man who tries to preach that, even for me, I would be lying if I told you I wake up some days and ask myself, does this matter? What's the point? Now I'll say this though. I'll say this. Though the days that I have, the times that I feel like that is less than I would say maybe the average man, because again, that kind of ties into just like finding purpose, finding your why. So I feel like I still kind of I get it. I'm able to cope with it a little bit more because at least for me personally, like I know what the point is. I know the why bother, but a lot of people don't got the why. Like they might be in a situation right now where it's just like when they ask themselves like, man, what's the point? What's the use? They can't really muster up any solutions, any reasons as to why. But they keep going nonetheless, of course, day in, day out, which I think like we're all kind of doing. But I don't know, man. Today was one of those days where it's just like, again, if we're all practicing empathy, as I hope we do, you put yourself in some other people's shoes. Like I just stopped for a second and just pondered on people that probably got it 10 times worse than me. Right? Everybody just stop right now. Just kind of just a moment of silence for all the people out there in the world, whether you know them personally or, of course, we all know like the world ain't easy. So we do know that there's a demographic of people that's just got it 10 times harder than your situation right now. You ever think about that? Like you could be complaining about your situation, like, damn man, I had a hard day today, but at least you had a roof to call your own. Whether you're late on the payment, whether you're at least you have a place, a roof. You could turn on the switch and the light come on. Water flows. You could turn on the faucet. You could open up a fridge. For the most of us, maybe there's something in there. For some of us, maybe there isn't. But for the most part, just to be able to say those three things, you have it a lot better than a lot of people. You understand? I think about that sometimes, man. Like the days I want to complain, and again, you just got to kind of look at both sides of the coin. Like the days that you do want to complain, just pause for a second and be like, yeah, my situation is pretty shitty. But there's thousands of people who have it 10 times worse than me. So it's just like, once you grasp that, like, man, all right, let me keep going. Let me not give up because who am I? It's like, it's almost, some of us, you have it too good to be complaining is basically what I'm saying. If you're comparing it to other people's situation. Now you'll say, oh, no, well, their problem's not my problem, man. Of course there is. Of course there's people 10 times going through it 10 times harder than we are. Of course there is, man, but I don't know them. I'm worried about me right now. It's hard out here for me. All right, I hear you. I hear you. You're not the only one. We're all out here trying to figure this thing out. So, today was Monday. Today Mondayed for me. Today was just like all the energy that you know is associated with Mondays for people. Yeah, it was that. And then we had some events today. It being, of course, January 20th. We knew this day was coming. We were all aware that this day was coming. Were we not? Did we not have ample time to prepare for this day? We knew what today was. So now that today is here, the reality is set in for a lot of people. Again, there's some people that are satisfied with today. They were looking forward to today. Some people are still heartbroken, maybe distraught, maybe worried, panicked about today. Regardless of what your emotion was, whether you're in favor of the events of today or not in favor of the events of today, of course, we're talking about the inauguration. This is Make sure we're all on the same page. Whether you were in favor for it or not, we knew this day was going to come. So it's here now. But let's not overshadow another day today as well, too. Rest in peace to the good brother, Dr. Martin Luther King. I thought it was kind of interesting that this whole inauguration literally trumped, as they would say, trumped this whole Martin Luther King Day. It's almost as if like Trump wanted today for himself. Like today was Trump Day. Yeah, there were sprinkles of Dr. Martin Luther King. Shout out to all the people that still fought to not let us overlook that day. Still had your Martin Luther King post. Still, all the people in publications that still put that to the forefront. Shout out to y'all, man. Because if you let the media tell it, today was only Trump Day. It was Inauguration Day, Trump Day, Trump, Elon. What did he call it? Liberation Day? I didn't really, to be completely honest, and maybe we'll watch some of that together. I didn't watch anything of, I've seen clips, seconds, not enough to even constitute enough to say I'm fully versed in the whole situation or the speeches, whatever the case took place today. I'm fully, I will watch some of those clips as well. I guess I'll look for a couple so I can maybe kind of get a good understanding of what he told you guys today. Of course, I saw some headlines regarding some things he's making an executive decision on, and we'll speak on that as well, too. Shout out to you. Justin Moth says, I don't know if I could sit through another speech of his. Tell me about it. I need to go watch some clips. I didn't. I did not tune in. Purposely, intentionally, I did not. Shout out to you. Thank you for stopping by. I couldn't sit through another speech of his. And again, here, let me share my sentiment with Trump first, just so we're all on the same page. Like, I know some people, I think some people might be confused. I don't know what people think. Maybe you think that I support Trump. Maybe, I don't know if the things that I say make it clear enough to understand how I feel about Trump. Yeah, you were better off getting the pizza. Justin Moth. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I think I kind of sort of did the same thing during that RNC speech, if I'm not mistaken. I remember I had other things to do. And when I came back, it was still the talk of the town, which is neither here nor there. But shout out to you, yeah. Again, man, there's a lot of people. Here's my thing. Like, when it comes to Trump, I'm not... How could I explain it? It's like, I take Trump at face value. I think that's the best way to put it. I take Trump at face value. I take Trump as the man he presents himself to be. Nothing more, nothing less. So in saying that, Donald Trump to me is he a villain? Is he a hero? Some people see him as both. Me personally, if you're asking me, I see Trump as a social media influencer. He's a funny guy. So I don't really know. Oh, hey, hold on. Okay, hey, I just saw your comment. I think, yeah. All right, if you are who I think you are, shout out to you. Salesman first, politician second. Justin Moth, I think I know what you're talking about. Do you watch Arcane? That's gonna answer the question. Are you familiar with Arcane, Justin Moth? If you are who I think you are, then I get what you're saying. All right, cool. All right. Hey. All right, cool. All right. Nice. Hey, how are you? Hey, thank you for stopping by. And good call. And went out, got a pizza, came back. All right, okay, cool. So, okay, yeah. So you and I have conversed before. So we may not share the same sentiments, which we do if it's cool. If not, it's fine. But Trump, I take Trump at face value, folks. Like, Trump is just he's a social media influencer. He's no different than all these other people. He's no different than all these other people. 100%. So it's just like, when I hear Trump, and you tell me he's a president again of the United States, it's like, all right, cool. So be it. So be it. Now, another thing I thought was interesting, of course, and again, if I come across any clips, of course, I'll pull them up. But of the things that I did see, of course, you saw Trump wasn't alone today. He had some buddies with him. Trump was surrounded by a few familiar faces who some of us might question as questionable people. Depending on your outlook on the world. Trump was in the presence of some people who, as I said, of course, maybe some familiar faces, some people who we also might feel a certain way about. Of course, I'm talking about the likes of Elon, talking about the likes of Zuckerberg. To be completely honest, and again, like, I get these people run the internet, but we all can kind of admit that something just didn't seem right with the optics of that whole setting, right? Did I read correctly that they treated him that the Musks and the Zuckerbergs were sitting in front of, like Trump's own cabinet was behind him? Did I read that correctly? Did I see that somewhere? I heard that it was Trump and Elon and Zuckerberg and the Google CEO. They were in one row, and then I heard like Trump's cabinet members and everybody else, they were behind him. Tech Talk Spook. I'll speak on that. That even actually kind of ties into that as well too. That ties into this whole Trump thing as well too. So yeah, with Trump coming into office today, folks, it doesn't necessarily, like, I'm not necessarily bothered. I did see some people, of course, express their sentiments online. Again, we have people who support Trump, like everything he's doing, rooting for him. And you have some people that do not care too much to be seeing Trump in office. Me, folks, I guess you could say I'm indifferent to the whole situation. You just have to execute your emotions wisely. What are you going to do? Is yelling and screaming and crying going to be the best use of your time and energy because Trump is in the office? Is that going to solve Trump being in the office? Is basically my sentiment. So it's just like, I'm indifferent to the events of today. I don't necessarily, okay, he's in office. Even if the other person was in office, if it was Kamala Harris, I think my energy would still be the same. Again, folks, I want us to just be a little bit more mindful, right? Because I'm seeing a lot of people like putting their all into Trump. They think Trump is going to be the savior now, and Trump is the guy to, save the day and make America great again, and all these other sentiments. But at one thing we got to keep in mind, these are all just words. One, they're all just words. So if the actions are backed by the words, maybe okay. But then two, Trump is just a mortal man. Trump is just another human being, just like you and me. So for the people that are like convinced, I'm seeing there's some people that are convinced that Trump is going to save the day. And I'm just like, how are you that sure? Because of the things that he says? Like, what has convinced you that Trump is here to save the day? So again, based off of how you feel of today, if you're happy with the inauguration, if you attended the inauguration, I know some people that actually made it to the inauguration. I don't know them personally, but I've seen some people that, whatever the case is. And again, that's neither here nor there. That's up to you. If you're a politics person, so be it. Justin Mott says only Jesus saves, man. That's what I'm saying, man. You're putting your power into man, Donald Trump, to save the day. And I don't necessarily think that's going to be the person who's going to save the day, because he too is trying to figure it out. So, again, if that's your belief as well too, man, I think a lot of people we are guilty of putting all our eggs in one basket, as they say, into other mortal beings, whether they be influencers, whether they be politicians, whatever the case is. No man can, he'll say some nice things. And again, take that for me, take that for anybody on the internet. Because again, we, on the internet, of course, come across people, this, that, and the other. And yeah, you might take a liking to a person, how they talk, or whatever the case is. And again, that's just Trump to me. So you got to kind of draw the line somewhere, or at least just like have a level of, well, I guess you could say reserve, knowing that Trump can tell you that he's going to make America great and this, that, and the other, but people will still suffer. Suffering's still going to be a thing. I don't think Trump was the solution we've been missing. Because it's amazing to me how quickly people forget in terms of his first presidency. The last time Trump was president, you know that was 2020, right? Are we confused? I don't know. So I feel like people just kind of just like have selective memory or so like selective like you forgot what happened when the last time Trump was in office. So he's the savior now, 4 years later. Be mindful, folks, man. Don't put your all into these other mortals. Don't put your all into these other humans, man. They're just humans. Trump does not have all the answers, which ties into the whole TikTok situation. So yeah, let's speak on that. Now that one, folks, of course, it was a masterful PR play, as we all know. Like we're aware now that that whole TikTok ban. Now that we see how it unfolded, we're all aware that, TikTok was never gonna go anywhere. I said this before. I think I tweeted this the other day. I said that the way that TikTok is basically grown as a staple in our culture right now, like TikTok is like it's too embedded in American culture. TikTok started what 2016, I think I saw from 2016 to like now. TikTok is like McDonald's. TikTok is like when you think of America, you kind of think of TikTok. Let's just keep it real. So the entire time, I did know TikTok wasn't going anywhere. I didn't know that they were going to paint it as a Trump victory save, but around the time, I knew it was going to be a Trump victory save when I saw the date. So when they said, oh, January 19th was the day it was going to shut down, and then, you realize that January 20th was the inauguration, I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing here. TikDonald's, literally that. And it's like, imagine getting rid of McDonald's. Like, that's something that will never happen as I guess you could say McDonald's and everything that comes with it, the culture of McDonald's here in America, it'll never go away. So I looked at it as the equivalent. The same way people were worried about, it's like, would you be worried if they say, oh, there's a ban on McDonald's? People won't stop eating McDonald's because it's just a staple. McDonald's can never get banned. There's certain things that just can't get banned. We can't just go without here in America. So it's just like, TikTok is the McDonald's of our culture. It wasn't going anywhere. I don't think it was ever going anywhere. Doesn't make any sense. Now, hey, I don't put anything past anything because we could find out one day that McDonald's is, doing whatever, and then people will ban it for themselves. But I'm saying it's just like in terms of just like regulations and laws or whatever the case is, people are not going to stop eating McDonald's the same way they weren't going to stop using TikTok. So for me personally, and again, this is coming from somebody who doesn't care for TikTok at all, I did kind of go towards the end. Being a little bit more empathetic to the people who, again, I guess the content creators on TikTok. So I do know it's not all just brain rot. I do know people make decent living on TikTok. People look at TikTok as a way to learn. People look at TikTok as a way of creative expression. So I would hate for that to have been deprived of people, right? I think I saw one lady that said 80% of her income was based off of TikTok. So I was able to be a little bit more unbiased and at least a little bit more empathetic to the idea that, okay, hey, just because it's not an app for me doesn't mean that it's not an app for a lot of different people. And I actually got caught in the crosshairs of that as well, too. So I found out that CapCut, which is also owned by the parent company, which is ByteDance. So ByteDance is the parent company, of course, of TikTok and Lemonade and all these other companies. And CapCut, if you guys know, CapCut is a video editing software that is kind of like, it's like whatever you use, like maybe like Final Cut or like DaVinci Resolve or like Premiere, Adobe Premiere. It's up there. And it's so crazy is that I recently, maybe like a month ago, 2 months ago, started using CapCut. All these videos are edited with CapCut. So it sucks that CapCut got caught in those crossfires. I did not know that was part of the deal in terms of the banning. And right now, CapCut still doesn't work. It does not work. Now, of course, I know Final Cut. I could go back to Final Cut. It's not the end of the world, but CapCut is 100 times easier to use than Final Cut. And then, of course, you just heard later on that Instagram, the owner of Instagram, announced that he's launching his version of, I guess, CapCut, whatever the case is, which would be like a CapCut copy, I guess you could say. Of course, it'll be American owned and this, that, and the other. So you kind of just unfold, like when all the facts have been revealed to us about this whole TikTok thing, it was just a ploy to make Trump paint Trump as the hero. He won an entire generation of people, whether it's the Gen Zs, and it's not only just Gen Z, it's older people as well too. Like there's a lot of people that depend on TikTok. So Trump won his numbers, his popularity vote, I guess you could say, grew exponentially with this saving of TikTok. But if you really think about it, TikTok was never going to go anywhere, man. Now, of course, they'll still work out. I'm not saying all the threats that they were associated with TikTok weren't real. They weren't valid. Yeah, they were, of course. If they are saying that TikTok is indeed a malicious app that's spying and gathering information and feeding us brain rot, then yeah, it's still guilty of those crimes. But so are all these other apps. Doesn't Instagram do the exact same thing? Doesn't Twitter do the exact same thing? So there's a lot of platforms where it's just like it's no different. Let's just not pin it all on. Let's not pin it all on TikTok. What do you think Harris Waltz lost? It's how the cookie was gonna crumble. It's how the cookie was gonna crumble. To be completely honest, I don't think that was ever. I think I'll say this. I think it was always slated. I think I've maybe had the sentiment for some time. I think Trump was always gonna win. I don't ever even when it was Biden, Trump, before we even knew Kamala was even gonna be a contender. I always knew Trump was gonna win. When it was Biden versus Trump, I knew Trump was gonna win. Then when it was Trump versus Kamala, I knew Trump was gonna win. I don't think it was ever in the cards for Harris to win. Let's just keep it real, man. In my personal opinion, I just think that Trump is the guy. Like if you think about the America that's been forming over the past, let's just say 5 years. If you think about and again, when I say the America that's been formed, I'm talking about just like the sentiment of it all. So our culture, if you just look at how our culture has shifted, let's just say from 2020 to now, 5 years, the last 5 years, and then you ask yourself, all right, knowing what I know of America now, the culture, the people, the news, the media, the things that are big mainstream culture, and then you ask yourself, like, all right, if how I ideate America in my mind right now, if it was a ship, and I had to pick one captain to steer that ship of this new embodiment, this new culture of America, who do you think best fits that description? Do you see Kamala Harris as the captain of the helming the ship, manning the ship of this new wave of America in the past, 5 years? Or Trump? I feel like Trump is just the man. And again, some people could look at that as a good or bad thing, but I feel like when I look out into the world and I just observe just like mainstream America, the culture here in America, our media, the people, just the things that have just slowly but surely just became normal. Like, think about it. There's a lot of things that were not normal 10 years ago, but they're completely normal now. So it's just like, I don't know. I get this revolutionary wave of change and when I think about America current day, and then if you ask yourself, all right, well, who's the person that they would see best suited to be the captain of that ship? It would be Trump. It would be. It would be Trump. So it's just like, there was never a doubt in my mind that Trump was not going to be the president of the United States. I saw your comments. See, so yeah, being that we're on YouTube, there's a lot of things. No, and thank you for that. That's fine. I wish YouTube was a space that I could actually, because again, I already know, and I am streaming on Rumble as well too. I wish I can say the things that I really wanted to say, and I know if my mom's watching, she would say, "Don't say it." Like, I'll say this: I have views that are not mainstream media. Like, I have things that I would love to say on this channel that YouTube won't let me. They won't let me. Like, there's a lot of things that are happening in this world right now that I have views on that I cannot say freely on this channel. If you know, you know. But yeah, even with that whole situation, Justin Moth, even with that whole situation, I have my theories on that as well too. Man. Like, I really feel like this is just one big show. One big show. One big skit that's like, there's writers, there's editors, the rabbit hole gets deep, man. And I don't necessarily, we don't have to dive into conspiracies now, but again, man, with Trump back in office, what happens now? What happens now that Trump is back in office? Let me see if I can toggle over and get some clips of some of the things he said to you all today. And I'm saying y'all because I did not watch. I did not tune in for the inauguration. I didn't care to. I knew, of course, I was just going to see it all on social media anyway. So let's see if I can find some clips of what he said to you guys. What did Trump say to you guys at his inauguration? Today was Trump Day. Again, shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King. May his legacy live forever on. But today was Trump Day, and the media did a good job of making it that way. it's like today was Trump Day. I think what did I read correctly that he gave you guys a day or gave us a day, I guess. What is it? Liberation Day, did he say? Was that tomorrow? When's Liberation Day? Or was today whatever he did. Trump is whispering sweet nothings. Guys. It's either Trump is whispering sweet nothings or he'll say some things and maybe do some of those things to gain more fan favoritism. But I still feel like Trump is the man that's going to, remember the Titanic? Remember the Titanic when all was well? All was well on the Titanic. The Titanic is embodying exactly what I see for this place we call the United States of America. Let's talk real for a second. I'm sure we all seen Titanic. The Titanic was the greatest, grandest ship, right? Indestructible. You had luxury, you had opulence, you had still poor and slums at the bottom. The irony that they were still able to maintain some level of societal disparity within the Titanic as well. So you had the rich at the top of the ship, the poor at the bottom of the ship. And this was this huge ship that was bound. I don't even know where they were going. Until you find out, oh, wait a minute. There are elements that are known or unknown that we can't dodge, that we can't avoid. It's how I see, is the best analogy I could give y'all when it comes to just America as a whole and what happens now. So it's just like, yeah, you might think that Trump is going to come and board this Titanic and steer us into a sweet sunset. But I think there's inevitable icebergs that America's going to hit. Whether we saw it coming or not is the best analogy I could give, to be completely honest. We are on the Titanic, folks. We know how this story ends. Now, there's some of us who, when they call for all women and children who are going to be able to have the resources to remember that part in Titanic where some raft boats came and a few people got off. Yeah, a few people got off. I think they called for women and children first, or whatever the case they did. Some people died in the water, so they thought they got off. They thought they got free. They thought they had a bunker or a place to, they still died. See what I'm saying? You see, so essentially, like, I feel like that's the best analogy I could give for the United States of America. So I don't know. I think there's people right now that just think that Trump is the best man to board this ship, to board this Titanic, and lead us off into the sunset. But my friends, I think there are icebergs in this water that are going to see to it that all of us don't make it safely to that destination. Those are some of my thoughts, man. What do I have here? Let's see. Let's see if I can come across some. Let me see some things that he said. What did he say today? Trump inauguration. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. Of the things that I did kind of hear Trump say, for Moby Dick, yeah, there's a lot of analogies that kind of share the sentiments of our current culture, our current state of the world right now. Let me see something real quick. So I just want to point out some things. Where am I right now? Of course, you guys are all aware as well, too. Let's pull this up. Let me see if I can share this screen. Yeah, let's share this screen real quick. All right, so let me share this screen real quick. So what I thought was interesting, as I said, of course, is I'll speak it on just the people that were in attendance. The people that were, you don't typically, like, I don't necessarily remember, and again, I'm not a politics guy. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But, like, yeah, I know people go to inauguration, of course. I know it's a ceremony, people come and gather. But in terms of being in close proximity with the President of the United States, this is a very powerful photo at the bottom here. These folks, remember when I had that conversation about the totem pole? The table, the seat at the table that none of us are at? This is what I was talking about. This is a perfect depiction of what I was talking about. I told you all that it's a totem pole. It's a hierarchy. That's what I said. I told you all, there's people at the top of that totem pole and us at the bottom. I was mindful to tell y'all that I was included at the bottom as well too. This picture right here that you see right here is exactly what I was talking about. And of course, we know this is just a fraction of the people at the top of the totem pole. Because I'll even tell you this. What's so funny? I'll tell you this. And this is how you know it's real. Again, call it conspiracy, whatever you want to call it. It's a hierarchy. It's a totem pole. These men are at the top, right, of the totem pole. Of course, if you're not familiar, you have Zuckerberg. I forgot this lady's name. I think that's somebody's wife. You got Bezos, which is what? My man, Amazon. You got Google, which you could say, what's his name? I forgot his name, but you can say that's Gates as well, too. Because I was like, where's Gates? I was like, oh, they got a Google representative. Because Bill Gates is amongst his people as well, too. Bill Gates is part of that collective. And you got my man, Elon. At the bottom of this pic alone, we're talking about what percent of the world's elite, of the world's per capita, I guess you could say. So you know what I realized? And you got to be mindful of as well, too. These are people at the top of the totem pole, and then there's the people that created the totem. These guys didn't create the totem pole. They're just the players at the totem pole. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like there's us at the bottom of the totem pole. I don't even think there's a middle class anymore, to be completely honest. That's a whole nother topic. And then there's the extremely rich, extremely wealthy, extremely powerful, right? And then you got the guys that you don't see at all. Then you got the guys who made the totem pole, who made the system. You don't see those guys. Those are the guys that are really calling all the shots. But again, I can't speak as freely here on YouTube, man, which is unfortunate. This is just my opinion, allegedly, right? I'm just saying allegedly. Allegedly speaking, these are the guys that are at the top of the totem pole. And look how in close proximity they were to Donald Trump. It's like these were the buddies. You saw more of these people. So word has it, basically, I'm pulling up this photo because word has it that Trump's own cabinet members were behind them. Like, you would think like, oh, it'll be Trump and then all his peoples first and then his buddies. No. From the stories that I've heard, all his buddies here, they were laughing. They were on stage. They were keying the entire time. So it's just like, that kind of just tells you the world that we're moving in. I don't know another situation where the president's billionaire buddies that own all of, or a good chunk of American infrastructure, were all buddies. What does it say here? What is this caption that I'm seeing here? Bernie Sanders on Donald Trump's inauguration. When the three wealthiest men in America sit behind Trump at his inauguration, everyone understands that the billionaire class now controls our government. We must fight back. Well said, Bernie Sanders. I'll read that again. Bernie Sanders seems to have been quoted here. Of course, my source is Pop Crave over on Twitter. Bernie Sanders says, and it quotes, when the three wealthiest men in America sit behind Trump at his inauguration, everyone understands that the billionaire class now controls our government. We must fight back. End quote. Said by the great Bernie Sanders. What does that tell you, folks? If it's Zuckerberg, again, owner of Facebook, owner of Instagram, owner of yada, yada, yada. You got Bezos, which is Amazon. You got Zuckerberg. I forgot this dude's name, which is Google. And you got Musk, which is Tesla, Twitter, everything. What does that tell you about how things are ran in this world? Folks, believe it or not, this is your government. This is the government, but they're getting the sign-off from the people who, they're not even on the totem pole. See, so this is the elite class that I'm talking about, the top of the totem pole, and then there's the people that made the totem pole. And this is why I always tell you guys, hey man, ask yourself, where do I stand in proximity to these people? And do you think these people give two craps about anything that any of our concerns? Do any of these people really care about you in this photo is basically what I'm trying to say. Do they? So when you guys say that you vote and you like, oh, I voted for a president, do you think these guys cared about who you voted for? That's the point I was trying to make, and I think some people got offended. Like, does it look like these people like Bezos, Zuckerberg, do you think they care about what we think, or do you think they care about what they think and then we gotta deal with it? What do you think is more likely? What do you think is more likely? When I see this photo is to make you feel small. Remember, I call this ants, myself included. This photo is to remind us all that we're nowhere near in proximity as to the people who are making the decisions in this game called life here in America, folks. Now, I'll say this, though. I'll be mindful to say this because, again, these are all mortal men. We could talk spiritual if you want to talk spiritual. So these are the people that are participants in the game as well, too. They're just like us. Yeah, they're on a different echelon of finance or the cases and riches, but they're mortal men. Keep that in mind. So that's what I kind of took away. Again, folks, when it comes to politics, I don't really care too much for it. I want to see if I can find another clip. Of course, there's a lot of clips going through social media. That's another reason why I didn't care to watch it. Elon Musk gave 2 back-to-back Nazi salutes. I did see that. I don't know what this was about. Do not know what this was about. I do not know what this is about. This is. Do you understand? I don't even.
Making it happen. Thank you.
What?
Making it happen.
Do you understand?
Thank you.
Do you guys get it? These are the people that are gonna lead us to victory. I'm not gonna watch the full 30 minutes of this clip, but let's see. Let me see if I could.
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, thank you very, very much. Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, Justices of the United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
Let me pause right there. I'm not even, again, this is a 30-minute video. I don't care to watch the whole thing. All of this is WWE wrestling to me. I just can't take these people seriously, man. I can't, bro. I just can't. I can't. It's no different than wrestling. It's not any different than wrestling. It's just not. But that's neither here nor there, folks. Let's say this because it's hot in here. I need to turn on my fan. Let's say this, folks. I'll say this. Again, take what I say. One second. Take what I say. Let's do 2. I want to be very clear. You don't have to think how I think. You don't have to believe what I believe. You're free to have your own opinions. And in fact, as a matter of fact, I encourage it. I hope you are formulating your own ideas of what you make of this world. Yeah, you can maybe take the things that I say into consideration. It could go in one ear and out the other. That'll be completely fine. That is your right. I'm not saying you have to think like me. I'm not saying, oh, because I think a certain way that everybody who doesn't think like me. I'm not saying any of that. What I like to do is, again, when you're Fox 5 and you're CNN and when the mainstream media tells you their side of the story, right? It's just like trying to get to the bottom of somebody's side of the story. So let's say the mainstream media, the news, your CNNs, all your mainstream bot influencers and this, that, the other. So they're going to tell you a story and they're going to paint a narrative. And then there's like independent journalists or just like free thinkers, people that are not afraid to go against the grain and ask the real questions. Then there's people like us, right? And then there's you. So it's like, yeah, you gotta, watch the mainstream media. Look for the narrative that they're telling you. Because you'll always notice there's something that's always... So pay attention. See what they're telling you, right? And then go to some alternative media outlets, independent journalists, whatever the case is, people who, you know, anybody, social commentators, anybody, of course, who seems to have an opinion or viewpoint that is contrary of the mainstream media. And then I want you to formulate your own thoughts, right? Formulate your own thoughts. At the end of the day, it's all of our responsibilities to be critical thinkers. I would highly advise that none of us are out here just being spoon-fed what they tell us at face value. Consider it, but don't digest it fully. And hey, maybe you are somebody who watches the news and are fully digesting everything that they tell you. If that's what you do, hey, so be it. Like, I have no control over that. But what I do want us all to do is challenge ourselves to think critically. Man, you guys are smart people, man. If you're watching this, if you're on this stream, you're that person. I don't want to believe that, you know, I'm believing to some degree that we're all... I like that. That's the energy. We all do the same thing as normal. Work hard, stay alert, and lock in is the sentiment. Business as usual, folks. Business as usual. Yeah, let them play their games. Yeah, let them whisper their sweet nothings, but focus on yourself. Focus on what you have going on. You have your own goals. You have your own aspirations. Do that day in and day out. And let that be enough. Not what society's telling you to chase. Chase the marriage, the house, the career. Again, if you have those aspirations, that's fine. But I want you to have those aspirations because you said you wanted those aspirations and not because society says you should have those aspirations. Right now, I think we should all just be diligently working towards our own goals. Not the goals of our parents, not the goals of society, not the goals of our peers who, you know, or maybe, you know, have some of the things that maybe we admire as well too. Again, whether that's the career or the family, the kid, whatever the case is. Work diligently towards your own aspirations. And I would think that's enough to call a fulfilling life, in my personal opinion. If I'm just going in day out, just focused, locked in, like, yeah, the world is going to throw its BS at me. The world is going to, you know, there's days that I'll win, there's days that I'll lose. You know, there's people that I'm going to come across that you will like. You'll come across people that you don't like. We'll wake up one day and we'll see a new headline and, you know, only God knows what we'll make of it, how it'll affect us moving forward. But you just got to keep going, lock in. So that way, man, when it's all said and done, you can at least say, man, I put up a decent effort. I put up a decent effort in this game called life. Yeah, the odds were maybe stacked against me, but look what I was able to do. And again, let's not all act like we have to chase some Nobel Peace Prize and we all got to be... It's okay to just live by your own terms. I want to make that very clear, man. Exactly. That's another good thing. Shout out to Justin Moth over on YouTube. Oh, yeah, I forgot everybody can't see the comments there. So, of course, I am streaming on Rumble. I am streaming on Twitter. I am streaming on YouTube. Justin Moth over on YouTube is exactly that. Shares those exact sentiments in terms of what we should all be doing. What happens now that Trump is office? The same thing that happened the day before and the day before that. Still be focused. Lock it on your goal so that way at least at the end of every day or if a year goes by, you can look back and say, man, look how much I was able to do in the midst, right? In the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the destruction, in the midst of the lies and the deceit. I don't even want to watch. I did not. I had zero intentions of watching this. Now, again, I did see some clips.
Exception.
I did kind of want to speak on something as well, too. But it's just tricky on YouTube. But I did see some things that Trump did say that I am actually in favor of. If you know, you know. Because what I would like to assume... Oh, I just saw this just now. Let me see. Donald Trump just signed an executive order to delay the enforcement of TikTok ban for 75 days to allow the time for the deal to be worked out. Guys, if this wasn't a PR stunt, I don't know what was. Look at him.
I tell you, I don't know what's going to happen.
Look at Trump, diligently at work. He's working hard for you guys. Look, guys. The hero. The hero. All according to plan.
doing a good job. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know what's going to happen with that. He's got some very strong ideas, Marco.
You signed the TikTok. Did you sign the TikTok order?
Yeah,
Yes, that was just.
Marco Rubio said yes.
just signed it.
How many?
Still
He's good. Doing a good.
He just signed it, guys. Trump saves the day. Of course, they had to get a shot of him signing some paperwork. God knows what this paper is that he signed, and only God knows. But let's get a shot of Trump at a desk, signing some paper on the first day in his office. He's getting straight to work, folks. That's the imagery. He's not your savior. This man's not your savior. He's the man at the ship that's getting ready to hit an iceberg. In my personal opinion. You see how they paint it? So again, where did this come from? It says here over on Twitter, Donald Trump just signed an executive order to delay the enforcement of the TikTok ban for 75 days to allow time for a deal to be worked out. Folks, TikTok was never going anywhere. It was never going anywhere. Don't fall for this trick. TikTok was never going anywhere. This was just a marketing ploy to have Trump be hailed as the savior of an entire generation. It's in a phenomenal location on the sea. Trump signs more executive actions. Again, neither here nor there in terms of that. What else? Again, I'm indifferent to Trump. Please don't. It's like I don't hate him. I don't like him. If that makes sense. Like, again, if you take Trump at face value, I like him for what he is. He's a funny guy. We can all. I'm pretty sure Trump has at least made us chuckle once or twice. He's a funny guy. So I take him at that. He's a social media guy doing his best impersonation of an American president. And he maybe gets a laugh out of me every now and again. So I don't hate him. I don't hate Donald Trump. I don't even hate the other lady. What's her other name? Kamala Harris. I didn't hate her. She was cool, I guess. But it ends there for me. I don't hold them in the regard of presidents and no. You guys are just social media people who are dressed up nicely, fed some lines to say, catch their good angles, maybe take a straight bullet. While the people who are really calling the shots are telling you to do so. That's where you get your orders from. Trump was always going to be the man in the hot seat. Always. This whole TikTok ploy, sometimes it baffles me the things that they try to get by on us, as if we're stupid. That's the thing that gets me. It's like, it's an insult to all of our intelligence. Like, you guys stoop so low and feed us this garbage for us to eat it up and take it as truth. They don't even respect our intelligence enough to let's not make it as obvious. They don't even implement a layer of difficulty on top of the lies that they're spewing out to us. It's interesting. That TikTok ploy, TikTok was never going anywhere. Like I said, of course, getting rid of TikTok is like getting rid of McDonald's. It's too embedded in the culture. It's too embedded. Yeah, there's been some social media apps that have came and went. MySpace had a run, of course, what is it, Vine, a few other apps that came and went. I do understand that. But TikTok it's here to stay. It's here to stay. It's like McDonald's. It's here to stay. TikTok will be with us till the end of time. It was never going anywhere. It's too embedded in the culture. It's like Ford. It's like hearing that, there's no longer American-built cars like Ford or... It's part of America. It's Chinese-owned, but it's part of America. So they'll probably do exactly that. They'll work out whatever they work out. Again, I'm hearing talks of Elon maybe owning it, which is just too much power at that point. But what are you going to do? That's how power works. So if Elon gets it, which I'm seeing rumors of, and he's already the owner of Twitter, X, whatever you call it, and you got Zuckerberg, they're all buddies. That's all the main social media platforms. So you could just say social media and communication for us humans is ran by a select group of people, 4, 5 people. Amazon, which is the top of our commerce. A lot of people buy and are employed through Amazon. All of these are Trump's buddies. So just be prepared for whatever they say goes, is basically what I'm saying. Whatever they say goes, and you might not like what they say. It's just too much power, too much in the hands of people that some of us would call questionable. These are questionable people. That's just my take, folks. Again, feel free to think for yourself. Feel free to formulate your own thoughts. Again, you don't have to agree with me. I've come across some people who are convinced that Trump is the one who's going to see to it that America is great again. If you believe that, go for it. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to debate with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Nah, I'm not going to do that. That's what you believe, go for it. What else is happening in the world? Typically, I had no plan, as I usually mentioned on here, folks. I just kind of get on here, and some would call it vent, some would call it yap, some would call it let off some steam, whatever you call it. I get on here. Of course, people are free to stop by. Shout out to Justin Moth over on Twitter. Over on YouTube. People, I do have some plans. Like, I do want to talk to people. Like, I do, whether it be on like a panel type vibe or one-on-one vibe, maybe a little bit of both. I got to figure it out. And I'm going to do so soon. I just got to figure it out. I might start off with maybe like one-on-ones and then maybe grow to like panels or just have people on, man. Hey, man, come on. Let's just chop it up. Like, let's just have a conversation about life and your perspective on the world. I'm a fan of perspective. If I said it once, I'll say it a million times. I'm a fan of perspective, man. Like, I like hearing how other people think. Again, you don't have to think how I think. I just like to understand what people make of the world, because I'm in this world, you're in this world, you're trying to figure it out, I'm trying to figure it out. So I just like hearing people's perspective. Like, what do you make of this world? Here's what I make of it, right? That's why I built this channel. That's why I get on here, because it's me sharing my perspective. So I like to learn and hear other people's perspective. Maybe you agree with the things I say, maybe you don't. So I want to actually start having people on the stream. Let's just have a normal conversation, bro. I'm not looking to debate you. I'm not looking to, oh, you're wrong, you're right. No. I don't have time to do none of that. I hear people's perspective. I just say interesting. Cool. That's what you believe. Cool. I'm not here to convince you of what you've told yourself maybe all your life. Depending on whatever the topic is. It doesn't matter. So it's just like, I want to start doing that. And again, it's difficult on YouTube because, again, YouTube is Disney Channel, man. YouTube doesn't let you... There's certain words you can't say. There's certain things you can't allude to. There's certain, or it'll just like, I don't know. And that's why I stream on Rumble as well, too. Shout out to the good folks over on Rumble. Rumble and Twitter, allegedly, are the platforms that are going to be the closest to allowing you to have free speech and speak freely. Whether your ideas complement the mainstream, whether they contradict the mainstream, those platforms champion themselves as the platforms that are allowing for free speech. Now, of course, Zuckerberg made his announcement, whatever day that was, and said that he too wants Instagram and Facebook to be platforms of free speech, but we know that hasn't been the case ever. We know there's such thing as being shadow banned. We know there's such thing as people's reach being, stifled to some degree in terms of visibility on their work, their thoughts, whatever the case is. We know people's pages, people could wake up one day and find their pages taken away from them. These are all practices that have been done on those platforms, YouTube being one of them. So again, YouTube has its favorites. There's a lot of things like YouTube as a consumer. If you're a consumer of content on YouTube, then yeah, you might not be aware. You still might, like, because again, you'll notice certain, you could kind of catch on, like, oh, YouTube is feeding me this person, feeding me this person. And again, maybe that's just the machine learning and the algorithm and whatever the case is. But as content creators on YouTube as well too, you can once you're the person who makes the videos, you can kind of understand, like, oh, okay, I see the game that they're playing here. YouTube will kind of like, they have a way of like steering you into things that they are okay with you saying. Let's just say that. Which is not fair, bro. But it's just like, YouTube has a way of just like, when you say things that they like, cool. When you don't say things that you like, that they don't like, you see the result of that. But again, it depends on the type of things that you say. There's some people that don't talk politics. They don't talk any controversial things. Those are real people. Like, if you want to get on YouTube, just don't say anything controversial and you'll do just fine. But that's hard to do if you're a person that, is a person that's seeking truth and understanding. We're living in controversial times. So to be able to not speak on controversial things, hey, but again, people have YouTube for different reasons. So if you're somebody that's considering getting on YouTube, yeah, I'm all for it. Do it. Like, why not, you know? But if you're a person, there's different types of channels, but if you're a person who wants to, like, let off some steam or, you know, kind of vent as to how you feel about the happenings of this world authentically, YouTube may or may not be that platform for you. Depending on what you say, they'll give you a space to do that, or depending on what you say, they will not give you a space to do that. But nonetheless, all that to say, I still want to figure out, I want to have conversations with people. At the end of the day, like, all of this is whatever to me. Like, yeah, like, I do like what I do, but if YouTube decided to ban me one day, what am I going to do? What can I do? I've seen it happen to YouTubers all the time. I've seen numerous people get their accounts taken away from them for things they said or whatever the case is. Maybe they got it back, maybe they didn't. And life went on. Yeah, of course, YouTube is more internationally known. People come on YouTube. It's more easily accessible. So yeah, people like having a presence on YouTube for those people who are into that form of content creation. But at the same time, I don't want to not say the things I want to say in fear of. But again, I'm gonna play by the rules. It's their platform. What can I do? It's their platform. But nonetheless, that's basically it. I just kind of wanted to get on here. I took a nap earlier. I needed it. Again, my Monday was indeed a Monday. I'm not necessarily seeing anything else I care to speak on. Today's Trump Day again. It's Martin Luther King Day as well, too. Shout out to Martin Luther King Jr. May his soul rest in peace. But today was Trump Day, as we all knew it was going to be. Trump took over the headlines with his inauguration and his buddies. Trump has taken over social media. Today was Trump Day. I'm not necessarily seeing anything. ByteDance now has to show that it's making significant progress on a deal to sell TikTok. So, whatever, man. I need CapCut back. I do need that back. So, whatever they got to do. I don't know how it. It's so frustrating, bro. How do we not have CapCut back? I need that back. But nonetheless, quick little hour stream. It's just like most YouTubers ever did this. What else is there? If there's anything, let me just toggle real quick. Let me see something. If there's anything else, I guess I can share my screen. Let me see something. Is there anything else? Justin Moth. Hey, it was a pleasure. Thank you for stopping by, Justin Moth. I know your name, so it's been a while. I know, so I didn't want to say your name. That's why I keep calling you Justin Moth, but that's the name, so that's fine. But like, yeah, I hope all is well. Thank you for stopping by. Feel free to always stop by. It's always a pleasure. You see that there's not that many people anyway. So a lot of the time I'm talking to myself. But people are free to stop by. Again, I want to actually start having guests as well, too. Anybody that's comfortable, I guess, whatever. It's a conversation. This is not any extensive, whatever the case is. But yeah, greatly appreciate it. Stop by. You never feel obligated to watch the entire stream. Come in when you come in, leave when you want to leave. That's the vibe. That's the energy. But thank you so much for stopping by. It's greatly appreciated. But yeah, I might call it. Honestly, there's nothing really I care to speak on. I wasn't even in the mood. I just needed to be consistent. I wasn't even in the mood to get on here. Let me just see something real quick. One more lap around. Let me just see something. What time is it? 9 o'clock, 9:05. 9:05 on a Monday. What else is happening? Fairly quiet on Twitter. That's it. Everything is Trump Day. That's basically all the talk that I'm seeing. Trump. Football. Shout out to the Eagles. Trump. TikTok. And we'll see how the rest of this unfolds, folks. What happens now? Guess we'll have to wait and see. Is basically what I'm saying. Now that Donald Trump is in office, what happens now? We'll all have to wait and see. But be diligent in your waiting. I'll close on this. Be diligent. Be intentional. Be attentive in your waiting. Right now, all we can do is just wait and see. We saw what his first presidency did. We saw what 2024 did. We all had to survive 2024. And now he's back for 2025. Right? So that in itself should tell a story within itself. But again, all you got to do, again, take it or leave it, Focus on your sphere, the people around you, the things that matter to you, and block out the noise of the things that are not in your control. So there's the sphere that you should live in, your own bubble. Of course, maybe a few people, family, friends, whatever your sphere looks like. Dwell in there, control there, master there, master that territory. That's the only place you should master your mind as well too. Master your mind and your physical environment is all you need to be worried about. Who cares who's in office? Because you should still be doing that regardless. Self-mastery, folks, is the name of the game. That way, when it's all said and done, you can at least feel good about the effort that you put forth. If you're on the pursuit of self-mastery, mastering the mind, mastering the body, mastering the soul, that's all you should be focused on. That's what happens now, folks. Focus on your mind and your sphere, the things that you can control. Trump is going to do what he wants to do. All his buddies, his pals, they're all going to do what they want to do. Things that we just can't control. So that's my thoughts, man. I'm going to call it. I really don't know what else to review, to be completely honest. There's nothing really I care to review. But I have some ideas. What's today, Monday? I'm going to start reaching out to some people, man. I'm going to start reaching out to some people. Let's get some discourse. All right? Let's get some discourse going. Let's exchange ideas, man. Again, I'm not trying to debate. It's just an exchange of ideas. But nonetheless, folks, thank you so much for stopping by. The likes, the comments, the subscribes are always greatly appreciated. I will catch you guys. I'll probably be back on Wednesday. What's today? Monday, Tuesday, tomorrow? Most likely Wednesday. Tomorrow? If not tomorrow, Wednesday, but most likely Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Let's call it Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care. Be safe. Peace.